Hello everybody, I'm George from Ireland. How are you doing? So this video is marking Barbados's transition from a monarchy to a republic. So the Caribbean island nation has abolished the monarchy. Up until 2 days ago, the Bayesian head of state was Her Gracious Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, defender of the faith, head of the Commonwealth, etc. So since the English and Welsh took possession of the island in the early 17th century, the English crown and subsequently the British crown held sway over Barbados. Barbados became independent in the 60s, and it was the Bayesian monarchy, not the British monarchy, even though the very same person who was Queen of Barbados was also Queen of the UK and other realms. So the ceremony took place at Bridgetown. That's the capital of the Republic of Barbados as it is now. So up until now, there was a Governor General who represented Her Britannic Majesty, because of course the Queen very seldom visited that country, and Dame Sandra Mason was the Governor General, and she's now the first President of Barbados. So that woman's got a Dame as an honorific, as a title. Have the Chinese got something to do with this? I don't think so. The Chinese are increasingly influential in the Antilles. So that was an honour from the Queen Dame. Remember, if a man achieves something magnificent, the Queen can knight the person. He kneels down, the Queen takes a sword and dubs him on one shoulder and the other, saying, "I now dub you Sir Somebody. Arise, Sir Somebody." He stands up. But for a woman, the person's becoming a dame. Now, the Queen is so often indisposed that her children have often delegated and performed these dubbing ceremonies in her stead. Hello there, Serene Sapphire. Well, I'm glad to know that I'm unutterably scintillating. But intelligent, beautiful, and fun. 3 out of 3 ain't bad. So the real Queen of Barbados was there to sing in the fledgling republic. That's to say, Rihanna, surely the most celebrated Bayesian of all times. Perhaps run a close second by Sir Garfield Sobers, the distinguished cricketer. Sir Gary Sobers, as you know, who often scored a century at the Kensington Oval, which is Barbados's national cricket ground, cricket being the country's second religion. Anyway, the Prince of Wales was there to bid a fond farewell to Barbados as a monarchy and to welcome the infant republic into the Commonwealth as a republic. Remember, there's the Commonwealth of Nations, this organisation for the United Kingdom and its quondam colonies, all 450 of them. And now that's down to 15 monarchies, including the UK, and all the rest are republics. So when the Commonwealth was founded by the Statute of Ottawa, I think in 1931, and of course there are a few dominions that were in it. It was only the UK, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, the Irish Free State, Canada and Newfoundland. Remember, Newfoundland wasn't part of Canada in 1949. They're all monarchies. Then India was becoming independent in 1947, and the Indian government declared its intention to transition to a republic as soon as practicable, which they did on the 26th of January 1950, that being celebrated as Republic Day each and every year in New Delhi. And up until that time, a republic could not be within the fold of the Commonwealth. In era, we'd split from the Commonwealth. We left in 1949, that Easter morn, obviously a third of a century since the Easter Rising. The date was not coincidental. We became the Republic of Ireland. You're thinking about those beans, thos beans. I'm not sure why you're spelling it thos. Perhaps it's just a typo. But anyway, George VI thought that we could find some way to keep India within the Commonwealth. So the law was changed to say that republics can be within the Commonwealth. And then most countries, when they were decolonized, they rapidly declared a republic. And that was the end of the crown orb and scepter. So Prince Charles was there as guest of honour, and Barbados is not showing two fingers to the United Kingdom. They're very cordial relations between the two. There's a sizable Bayesian community there. The first slave colony in the British Empire. Yeah, indeed, I think so. And we're going to touch on this. So Prince Charles, he said there was this appalling atrocity of slavery. And it was right to broach the topic because the people of Barbados, they're of African stock, almost without exception, and their ancestors were abducted in the New World. They're conveyed across the foam in the most inhumane conditions, chained in a ship's hold, often having to sit there in their own filth. The stench must have been appalling. Many of them died on the way. Many of them had been summarily murdered at the dockside before departure if they were thought to be unfit, unlikely to survive the voyage. Those who died on shipboard were unceremoniously flung overboard to nourish the sharks. So, and when they got to the other end in the Caribbean or in the mainland of the American continent, they were forced to labor, horny-handed sons of toil, under the lash, just brutalized, women often raped, subjected to every unspeakable crime imaginable. And this was evil on a vast scale. Anyway, so it's perhaps surprising that many Bayesians have affection for the United Kingdom, the land which did their ancestors such terrible wrongs for so many centuries. Anyway, despite the change in constitutional status, there's still going to be very amicable relations between the two countries. Barbados, with its three barred flag, three vertical bars of this sort of cyan, this sandy colour in the middle, and then the three-pronged black trident. And then Prince Charles, just to show there are no hard feelings, was given the Order of Freedom of Barbados as an award. Isn't it ironic that Barbados signed the China's Belt and Road Agreement to connect with Africa and China? I didn't get the rest of the comment. Moreover, an office in Beijing has been able to facilitate investment in the Caribbean nation. Well, China is spreading its tentacles everywhere. I mean, it's not an entirely bad thing. It does stimulate the economies of various countries, and some people in erstwhile British colonies are very gratified to see that and to get one over on the Jack Tar. Would like to see Britain humbled. So anyway, Sandra Mason, as I said, she's now the president. She's 72. She was Governor General since 2018. But the odd thing is that Barbados had considered abolishing the monarchy several times. Yes, Russia interests me. Why does not talk the British Commons say the slave owners 1834? I don't know. It's in many textbooks. It's not terribly difficult to find. Paying £20 million, which may not seem like a tidy sum, but of course in 1834 terms you can put at least 2 zeros on the end of that. And I said in a previous video, the biggest single recipient was Sir John Gladstone's. Yes, there is an S on the end of that surname. He was the father of the Prime Minister William Ewart Gladstone, who owned over 2,000 humans in Trinidad, Tobago and elsewhere. Anyway, so despite the Barbadian public supporting the monarchy by a margin of 2-1, nonetheless, the Parliament of Barbados decided to have done with the monarchy, so it's been sent packing, and that's it. Now, no nation that's abolished the monarchy within the Commonwealth has ever restored it, but of course, they could bring it back. I mean, I'm a very sentimental monarchist, as viewers of my channels might know, although I know that the bearers of these great titles are all too human and too flawed, and they definitely shouldn't let too much daylight into the magic. Let's go Barbados, love from Ireland. Yeah, we got an Irish consulate out there. I saw when I was in Barbados on holiday years ago, and the Irish consul writing in some magazine about how Barbados can learn so much from the Republic of Ireland, how we've really prospered, and a fairly small island nation can be a real world beater in many spheres. Yeah, that's it. But they're not chucking out all their British heritage, though they've lowered the royal standard and given it back to Charlie Boy. Not that they're going to turn away from the English language or that Westminster model of democracy, or I think the legal system or anything like that. Most of the republics, they've maintained what they regard as the positive aspects of their British heritage, but they say that we're now really decolonised and this is the ultimate proof of independence. Thing is, will it trigger more declarations of republics? Will there be a chain reaction? You know, the Labour Party in Jamaica, not so far away, has considered this for some time and is very much inclined to be anti-monarchist. Well, that's enough from me. I've got to go now, so please send your donations. Thank you so much for donating with such liberality on PayPal. Remember, you can find me there. I'm georgecallahan79@gmail.com. That's GeorgeCallahan79@gmail.com. And I do all sorts of lessons online, doing elocution lessons, got a new student. So just write to me if you'd like some online lessons or even in-person lessons if you're in Londinium. Toodaloo.